When I first started, like it was brutal. Like I literally for a year and a half, like the only move that I knew was how to wing a half Nelson. So literally I'd have to have somebody put me in a pinning combination and me to lock onto their arm and roll them. And
Right.
that was the only thing I knew how to do for a solid year and a half. Fully, if I had been doing it, on my own and making that decision for myself at 11 years old, I would have quit.
Right.
What freaking 11-year-old like can, go and make those decisions to, be able to continue on and, persevere under those odds. My parents, they wouldn't let me. And it
Right.
was, had they not done that, like it would have been a very different path.
Right.
I didn't necessarily always realize the amount of love and support that I had in my life, and didn't necessarily realize until I started traveling. I need to go and see that that's not the case, around the world, that not
Right.
everybody has the same experience. A lot of times like the disabilities that people have, like it's, their family themselves, right? Like
Right.
it's the background that they've grown up in, and like the circumstances and the traumas that they've had to endure. For me, it was just, it was more visually obvious, the challenges that I was going through.
Yeah. That's
The concept and like being able to like grapple with that idea, whether it's like stories from the samurai, or Spartans, or like different theologies, Stoicism.
right.
Like there's like that kind of stuff. When you ask about like doing things that I enjoy, like I geek out on that stuff pretty hard. Philosophy.
Right.
It's you know the world is kind of like almost become like a marketplace for attention now.
Oh,
It's like that's like the modern currency, in a lot of ways, right? Like you look at all the social media companies, it's this like massive like hunger for attention. you know
I was realizing how often we are bombarded with messages and how few people are being heard. And sometimes if you just
mm,
talk to someone and listen to them, they have something really great to say. Um, and too often the people who are waving their hands and getting all the attention are the only ones heard, and they're not the ones that
mm.
deserve the attention often.
That we don't know what we have inside of us until we do something to try and find out. And I think your story is kind of a example of that too. It's like you don't necessarily know what's going to go and come out of something until you ask. Had you not asked to have this interview,
Yeah.
then it never would have been, right? Like,